Hello, Priyanka.
Hi, Brianna. Brianne B, sorry. That's how I know you.
Yeah,
Hmm.
thank you
So,
for this space. And yeah, I would like to jump right in
hmm.
with your questions.
Yeah. So my first question is, what is Rage Club and how it is connected with the possibility management?
So, Rage Club, you've been in Rage Club,
Yes.
and Rage Club is more than what I can say about it. It's more than the words. It's really the experience that you had.
Hmm.
This 4 weeks of intense experimenting and discovering and boundary making and being in your power and taking back your authority, holding your center, and all these experiments that we did together.
Hmm.
And Rage Club is not just your own experience that you had, but it's also there are other people holding space for Rage Club out there. And there's also, yeah, there are some specific, I would say, like, elements that make a Rage Club a Rage Club. For example, doing the practice of that I call 333,
Hmm.
which is to for 3 minutes to consciously experience a maximum amount of rage for
Hmm.
no reason. And
Hmm.
a Rage Club would be less of a Rage Club if there was not this practice inside. And so there are certain practices and experiments that are kind of foundational in a Rage Club, and that each Rage Club that people deliver normally includes some of these practices. There are no set rules of like how it has to be, but
Hmm.
they normally include these like core practices.
Hmm.
And so Rage Club is is part of possibility management because possibility management is a set of distinctions and tools and processes and experiments, and it's really a field of research that has the purpose of creating a new culture,
Hmm. Hmm.
creating a culture that is centered on taking responsibility, taking radical responsibility. And this radical responsibility, what it means is that you're taking responsibility not just for yourself and for making sure that you're saying what you want and taking care of your own messes or making boundaries or communicating. Like, it's more than that. Radical responsibility is taking responsibility for the level of responsibility that is taken in a certain space. So it goes even beyond. And it doesn't mean you that you have to do everything. It means that you you would, if you notice that something is not being done, then you would either do it yourself or delegate it or ask somebody, would you please do that, or negotiate. And so there's a lot to it, and I want to be concise because I want to get to the point, which is that Rage Club is part of possibility management, which has the purpose of creating a new culture centered on responsibility.
Hmm.
And in order to take responsibility, you need to be able to feel.
Hmm.
And most of our school system and our culture, what I call modern culture, this patriarchal empire, this capitalism that is centered on money and avoiding taking responsibility for cleaning up the messes that we're doing with the earth. For example, like who's cleaning up the plastic in the ocean?
Hmm.
Who is cleaning up the CO2 in the atmosphere?
Hmm.
Like all these messes are created by modern culture, but nobody's cleaning it up, or certain organizations that are really working on the edge are cleaning it up for other people. They're cleaning up somebody else's mess
Hmm.
and they're taking more responsibility. And so, in order to take responsibility, if you do not have your anger, if
Hmm.
I was not angry when I see the plastic on the side of the road, I would not be able to take responsibility for that piece of plastic and take it with me and clean it up.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so at the core of possibility management, there's this what we call conscious feelings work.
Hmm.
And it is an initiation into adulthood
Hmm.
to really what it means, an initiation, what it means is that by going through an initiation, at the end you're able to take more responsibility than you were before the
Hmm.
initiation. and and modern culture has really removed initiation from its culture. It has forbidden initiation. And so possibility management also delivers initiation so that people are able to take more responsibility, so that we can create a culture that is not destroying the earth and killing the planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for an example, though, what I see is also the tool can also help you to understand myself well and putting boundaries so that there is, in a way, a kind of adult talk is coming where your emotions are not playing, or you're not actually playing from your childhood trauma or wounded child, rather say, but understanding the pattern and actually understanding and integrating it in a way so that they don't haunt you and your decisions are not coming from that space but from more, let's say, pragmatic and from the clarity, like it is coming from anger, it is coming from sadness. And also I see there is a language is being changed, like it's about clear speaking from a more clarity, that and it is also kind of not putting anger, sadness as to suppress, but as it is, like
Yeah.
as a part of survival, that it has as an emotion they have put into the biochemical process, emotional process of human body, and use it as an energetically, I mean, as it is.
Yeah.
Though, as you have mentioned very clearly, that it is about being more responsible human being. So it first looks like towards each other, though, but then for an example, like a possibility management coach who is perhaps 3 4 years could be a consumerist person who could be also generating quite a lot of garbage in his normal lifestyle. I mean, so how this helps, like how it really translate that if a person is slowly growing in a possibility management now, because this is also equal to, like, I am individually a kind of trying to do a lot of zero waste lifestyle here.
Yeah.
Being an Indian in UK, I'm not buying Indian grocery apart from few Indian spices which I can't get it here.
Hmm.
My perishables are actually, I'm trying to come from first from UK, then to Europe, and then could be from my country or some other country.
Hmm.
Even my rice I'm buying from Europe and
Hmm.
France, because I want to. This is my responsibility towards having less carbon footprint and being more responsible. I'm connecting with the local farmer so that I make my veggie normal meal from local organic farmer.
Hmm.
But of course, when it comes to dealing with my emotional, I'm still not clear. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have tools of possibility management, but I have other tools through which I can say that I am somewhere feeling responsible towards Mother Nature, and this is what my action is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's possibility management is a series of, it's about upgrading your thoughtware,
Okay.
which is kind of like, the word sounds similar to the word software, like in a computer. It's your thoughtware is what you use to think with. It's not what you think about. It's not, so it's like the way that you think, the map that you use inside yourself to understand the world.
Mm.
And so it's not about like possibility management is not going to tell you what to do with your life. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to tell you, oh, you should not create waste, and you should buy local things, or you should not eat chocolate if you don't live in a place where you can grow cacao. And it's not going to tell you those things. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to give you the capacity, the soft skills, the inner navigation skills, and the consciousness to be able to take responsibility for choosing for yourself.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. And as I will come to this again, but I also wanted to know who are the founder of these, and since how long this is existing at the
So
global platform.
on a global level, I mean, I don't know on a global, but I know that it started with Clinton Callahan. He started doing research in 1979,
Mm-hmm.
and this word possibility management emerged. And and then since then there has been lots of research and also lots of collaborators that have worked with him and that are also working now. There are hundreds of people doing research right now on a global level, and even I would say thousands of people. And it's really the way that it is structured is as a torus, and there is no hierarchy. Really, it's a circle with like circles within circles of people that are working together as teams. And all of the work and all of the research is copyleft. Most of like most of it is available online. I would say like more than 90% of it is available online on the Startover platform, which is a game. We've created a game with experiments that people can try and put and like a get a matrix point, what we call a matrix point, from doing experiments. And by matrix, what I mean is developing matrix is the kind of the structure on which your ability to be conscious grows, is like your capacity to be conscious. And responsibility is consciousness in action. And so the more matrix you have, the more ability you have to be conscious, the more responsible you can be. And the more responsible you are, the more winning happens for everyone. And so it's so this start over game where you can input matrix point is kind of a way to track the experiments that you're doing to really develop your ability to take responsibility. And so what I was saying is that all of these experiments and all of the research is available for anybody to read, anybody to experiment with and research themselves, and even for anybody to make a presentation, a workshop, or a work talk about it, and to share it with people. And when I say that it is copyleft, it means that it cannot be copyrighted. It cannot be used for some kind of corporate purpose of making profit.
Right. But you did mention that there are 10% which is still not available, and for that one has to kind of have an association with the person who can be like considered, like, I don't know whether you guys have a certificate or not or something like that, or kind of, oh, I have done 4-H club and then there is a designation to it. Like, because there are systems and organizations have always, like in family also, I'm mother and my husband is father and a daughter, and they have a set norms. It can be dynamic, can be different in different houses, but then there is some background is there. So just like that, uh, even the 10% is being kept amongst the people who can consider themselves as a part of the club, because it is ultimately a club.
Well, what this 10% that I'm talking about is what happens in real life, is like what happens when a group of people are together co-creating something, co-creating a field, co-creating this kind of village where you can have processes together and ongoing negotiations. This dimension is not there online on the written website.
So that is, I would call it experiential knowledge, because a person is actually being appreciated and encouraged to speak from this authenticity, which is, I definitely appreciate that. uh, like when I'm talking with my father sometimes, and if I'm crying, and then he would just immediately say, in this, why you are crying? So that means itself is like the normal emotions are not allowed at all, because it makes them uncomfortable and they have no clue how to hold a space for an adult crying. And I see that yesterday my daughter was crying, she got injured, and it was very, very interesting what happened. That, I don't want to go into the detail, but her tongue started bleeding
Mm-hmm.
because the ice got stuck because she was licking, and the person who helped just removed the ice instead of putting water. So, and she was crying, and I saw one part of me was angry on her first thing, and it, of course, the possibility management helped me to identify all these things. And then definitely it was much better way of also keeping my vibration energies in a way so that she feels safe with me,
Mm.
because she was angry on herself. She was angry on me before that I'm not paying attention to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that wherever she is angry, she injured herself so that she
Mm.
get attention. And I also was little late to approach that, and I was feeling sad that and guilty that I did not, despite I heard her, but then that other adult was there, and she did not took a proper decision. And that's why, instead of putting water, she removed ice from her trying, and it just took away the skin a little bit and bleeding. And then my daughter was freaking out because she did something and she was afraid of me scolding, which I could see, but I did not. And I let her be. And I saw all these emotion and I separated them and I let them be. And I said, okay, what you want to do, Priyanka? Are you want to just give it to Ame, or you are okay spending another half an hour with to just give her chest? So I didn't say anything, and I said, no, she needs me right now, and I will give complete myself. I will give her complete. And she kept on crying and she wept, and I let her weep. Not a
Yeah.
single time I said anything, and I let her emotion out. So I brought my all these things with the clarity, and I choose to be there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't want to be there because it is so much discomforting for me, and I want to immediately not take responsibility for that and scold her that you should have done that. I told you.
Yeah.
So I understand this, and there is a lot of empowerment. I see that. So again, I see very coming back to the point where I saw that especially the young people who like me and you, and when they are really letting go their anger and all these emotional which needs to go out, it's like, I mean, we say that when there is pus, it needs to the pus needs to go away to heal.
Mm.
So it is very important to let go these emotional thing, and as in cancer also says that it is suppressed emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you remember in the Rage Club, I presented or I offered this distinction between feelings and emotions, and how, yeah, these emotions are stuck in our body. They are old traumas really from the past that are that and they're kind of, it's like they're rotting inside us. And they're, and by taking care of them, we're we're able to have access to our feelings, which are neutral energy and information that we can use to really handle these situations that happened, for example, with your daughter. And you felt this sadness, and you were able to really slow down with the sadness and connect with her and be there and just
Yeah,
hold space for her.
yeah. I did connect it with the sadness, anger, every like all emotions, and I could
Yeah.
also separate them. So I really felt it as if, and I choose, and I also said the okay that yes, you want to run away from this because it's painful, but then that's how it is, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And it has reminded me when we were doing this anger exercise. So I think I always baffled me. So I wanted to, when she was young, I wanted to give her bath, blah blah blah, which I chose to do it. But today also sometimes I feel that my teeth are like this.
Mm.
I'm angry on some, like, do it faster. Like there is one person in me, and I see that's not me because I don't have to catch any train. Like
Hmm.
I can choose, but then I still see that, as a residue, I still there in me. And I would wonder that this little child is not doing anything to me. And in fact, I want to bathe her, but why my teeth are like this, when I'm
Hmm.
giving her bathing. So I felt that there must be something in that I must not have been treated well before. And then it's still there
Mm.
as a experiential level in my cellular, and that's how I'm reacting the same way as
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is to have this emotion stuck in you.
Hmm. Okay. But you said, because I'm very keen on, for me as an individual, I'm kind of, I won't say rejecting, but I'm trying to integrate, or let's say being very clear about wherever there is a pyramid structure in any life. So even in my relationship right now with my husband, I see because of the patriarchy, even if I don't want, I am not being able to feel equal with him,
Mm.
because I'm still so, and even we both as a parent try to bring Chavi as an equal, as much we try to attempt in a way that we are respecting her needs. So sometimes we bring her in our conversation and what she would like to, and we design her TV time around that. So
Hmm.
there are many things we involve and incorporate her needs.
Yeah.
So somewhere that attempt is there where I am working. So I'm paying her less than me because she's a helper, but I always say that she has equal right to share her discomfort with me. So when we are in the kitchen, we are equal. It's just we are having a different job and we are choosing as per old way, and I'm choosing to pay myself more than you for my experiential blah blah blah. But I value you so much like me.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to break that thing, and for me it is very important question even in the Rage Club if I really want to pursue it for a few years, because I see it as a potential field, as a
Hmm.
matrix which is changing the mindset,
Hmm.
the way of talking, which is very important. I see.
Hmm.
I have read nonviolent communication. So I somewhere felt quite a similarity with this, but this looks more radical.
Yeah.
And hence, I'm very keen to understand and know that if want to really, that if it is pyramid, then I'm still not like, I want to get more clear about that. So,
Yeah, there is a distinction, which is to consider that any hierarchy, so a pyramid structure is a hierarchy, which is to consider that any hierarchy that you are playing in, you created it, either by making yourself inferior, by choosing to be inferior, and it can be an unconscious choice, or by choosing to be superior. And this is what creates hierarchy. And in possibility management, like I said, it is a set of circles within circles of people. And for me, in the Rage Club as a space holder, I am there with you. I'm not there to tell you what to do. I'm not there to say, oh, it should be like this, or it shouldn't be like that, or I'm not there to say this is good and this is bad. All that I'm doing is being there with you, offering you in distinctions, and inviting you into processes and experiments that everyone is choosing to do or to not do. And in some places I am very committed to people, and I will ask, like, okay, hey, what is going on that you don't want to do this? And I will ask, because I am committed to everybody's transformation. But I'm not there as a teacher that knows better than other people, because I'm discovering in every single moment, even as a space holder. And like I said, if I'm a space holder, I'm there so that the space is held. And I'm there making contact with every single person, and connecting with, like, what is going on for them and what is needed for all of us, so that more clarity can happen, so that more transformation can happen, so that more teamwork can happen. And it's about really putting myself out of the way. I'm not there for fame, or to be put on a pedestal or anything like that. And there's really none of this happening in possibility management unless people are making it like that. Like, if you as part of a participant in a Rage Club make me superior to you, or make yourself inferior to me, then I cannot do anything about that. I can tell you, it seems like you're creating a hierarchy, and I can shed some light on it. And you at the end of the day, you're the one that chooses.
Yeah, it's actually like, it's putting, at least, yeah, it's very interesting that it's been asked, it is, every individual is asked to check with themselves at each and every given moment. Yeah.
And this is radical responsibility.
And that is the key to that. And I see that, I do you think that actually, so my next question would come, that somebody who is coming from a different language background, I do feel sometimes that uh, of course world is going through a major transformation, and it always goes through major transformation every day. I mean, it is a consciousness is doing everything. Even if it is a pandemic, then it is a part of the conscious plan, whatsoever it is. So I feel, but this particular paradigm is not available to people who are speaking in Hindi or any other language, right? So,
well, it is. So I just want to pause you that there are some people actively working on translating a lot of the work that has, and the research that has been done. There are some French speaking people working, some German speaking people, lots of Spanish speakers. And in India, there is one woman that is kind of starting the movement in India, and her name is Shalini. And I can put you in contact with her if you'd like.
yeah.
And yeah, so it is kind of slowly, people are really trying to translate it as fast as we can so that it can be available for as many people as possible.
Yeah, because I do feel that there is a need of change of language. Because having a child, what I started eliminating things which is no more serving me, and it also happens in my lifetime. My father changed a bit of it, so that's why I don't exactly. So even the pattern, the phrases, I don't speak to my daughter, but they still come in my mind, and they
Mm,
sometimes sabotage me. My inner child is like still telling me the same story, but since this has not come to my daughter as if like a spoken words, perhaps cellular level she might have taken, I don't know. But I don't speak all these terms. What I see it as a quite abusive way of addressing somebody.
mhm,
And I see that when I started reading nonviolent communication, also that it has that shift. Like the world needs to go through a kind of shift when we are conversing with each other.
mhm.
Like definitely, as you said, you how you propose, even
Yeah.
are you willing to. So then I said that even in there the energy shifts,
Mhm.
that the person does not feel obliged to do, but he feels free to kind of, and he somewhere is, or he or she is assured that he's yes or no both will be respected. So he's not afraid of losing, and even if it is lost, then I mean it looks very complex, but then how, that's how the human life is,
Yeah.
fortunately.
Yeah, and that's, for me, that's part of the fun, is how infinite it can be. The complexity is infinite. And that's part of the fun that happens for me playing in this, I would call, kind of game world of possibility management.
I must share this thing because we are coming from this place where we have been, directionless youth, that our parents would always crib, or perhaps that we were not this unclear like you guys. This is what I'm being, and I feel that. But then of course I'm viewing myself as per them, that they had a very routine life,
Hmm.
and very, but then in reality how much they were really thriving and happy, god knows.
Yeah.
So it comes to us that I sometimes just felt that, I mean, I felt excited as well as concern also, that so many youth is joining it, and then it must be holding a very responsible space, because this can turn into a big thing and a cult, and then, but how it doesn't stay as a block and a cult, but also open and made other people equal. Like if what the like it's just before it was a religion, now it is a cult of the psychological way of approaching, or let's say it has emotions also, so I won't call it just changing the language, because there's a lot to do with your emotion also, so it's holistic approach, that's what I see it. But I still feel sometimes I'm afraid as an individual that when things get started becoming cult, then
Uh,
again it can.
Yeah, and my question would be, what is a cult?
Hmm, the,
And 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 it seems like you have like an association that a cult is bad or is dangerous.
yeah, I feel that when other person, the outside, any new person is not accepted because you can't speak the language right
Mhm.
now, and then I mean if there is a very logical way of dealing with it, it's okay, or pragmatic. But then if it is about making other person lower down, like the hierarchical, that you are not one of us, then it can become very tricky. Then I feel that it's still not humane, or let's say like for us, for the mankind.
So you have this question that because possibility management has developed a language in order to have more clarity, because we needed to invent words for more clarity to happen. And so because there's kind of this vocabulary that was developed to match the research, then you have this fear that it becomes kind of exclusive.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think so. Wait a minute. Yeah, somewhere I felt that because these people know more than me, so I saw myself that somebody doesn't know. But then the reality is everything is inside. I mean, um, it just needs to come out. I don't know how to say, but yes,
Yeah.
I you were there. That is
That because so
separation.
in you what you experienced, I want to be there with you in and get what you're saying. So what you experienced in the Rage Club is that we were speaking with a language that you sometimes did not understand, and that made you feel outside or like separate.
Somewhere I feel that, oh, I don't know this subject and I need to know to reach somewhere else, somewhere better place. So it's a kind of hope which is drawing me. But then unless I practice, I'm not gonna know. But I mean, in general, I'm just assuming that you guys are much more settled than me in a way.
And so you're creating an assumption.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this assumption is separation, not in reality. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I
And
mean, I'm understanding my own question. Sorry.
yeah, and also what stopped you from asking, hey, I don't get that? And I know that you did a few times, and what stopped you from asking every time?
I have always asked whenever there was need. I have
Okay.
learned. I have come across the fear of asking now because it is my responsibility. If I want to learn, I better start questioning.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I won't know that. So I don't freak out now. Um, that's what it is like. Yeah, without asking, you don't even know. Perhaps, So, yes, I am learning to ask questions.
and and yeah, I do recognize that it is in the beginning, especially for me also in the beginning, it is a lot. It's a lot of new ways of speaking about things. It's a whole new language, way of seeing the world, and it's not, you don't, there's no obligation for you to take it on. It's an invitation for you to experiment with it and see if you get new results in your life, if you get the new results in your life that you're looking for.
Mm, right.
Because the words bring so much clarity.
Yeah, it does.
To have specific words for the emotions that are related to traumas from the past, and a separate word for the feelings that emerge in the moment that you can use and then they go away because you've used them and they've delivered their message. To have those two different words changes everything. Because
Yeah.
then when I'm having an emotional reaction, I can say, okay, this has nothing to do with the person in front of me. It's an emotional reaction. And so I'm not going to use it and say, well, it's your fault and blah, 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 and start blaming the other person, because I recognize that it is an emotion instead of a feeling. And
Yeah.
so this is the power of this vocabulary, and the clarity is that it can really change our lives.
Right. So I want to, because you said that when we react, so mostly we always want to work on our negative, so-called negative emotion. We say that anger, sadness, fear. But then even there is something like joy, and sometimes in super exciting joy, also we take some very funny decisions or wrong decisions which does not serves us.
Yeah.
So how do we measure that it is coming from? Can you give example? Because that's very tricky part, I feel.
Yes. So In my experience, and also in other people's research, it's that joy can also be an emotion. For example, I recently experienced an emotion of joy. So that came because my father was coming to visit the place where I was living at the time. And I had this overwhelming joy that lasted for many days before he arrived, because when I was a child, I barely saw my father. I saw him twice, like once every 6 months,
Mm.
twice a year. And every time that I was told by my parents that he was coming, I had this excitement, like, wow, it's going to be amazing, he's going to be there. And recently this happened, and I was like, wow, this is actually, in a way, it's inauthentic, because it is a joy that is made up of all the past moments where my dad came to visit back home when I was a child, and I was not an adult, and I had this overwhelming excitement to see him. And so if I use this joy to say, to make a decision, or to make a judgment, it would it would not be the same as if I have the joy. For example, I'll say an example of a joy that comes from a feeling. So something that happened recently, I'm writing an article, and when I get to the end of the article, I'm like, yes, I have this joy. Like, for 30 seconds, I'm so glad that I finished the article and I can publish it, and it's has so much clarity, and I feel this gladness, and I publish it and I celebrate with my joy. And then it goes away. Then that's it. Then the next feeling and the next feeling, and there's constant feelings happening all the time. But these emotions, they really last for longer periods of time, and they're this kind of accumulation of many moments before, which make them, it doesn't mean that they're bad or negative. Not at all. They're actually doorways for transformation, for healing, specifically in the case of fear and anger and sadness. And yeah, I also want to say that for me, there's no like, joy is a good and or a positive, and the other three are negative. It's really, they're all so useful. They all have a specific energy that gives me a certain kind of information, and it helps me to navigate my life.
Right. So it looks like more of you are catching as a, catcher all these aspects of you which you are experiencing in every moment, and you use it as an information
Yeah.
and take a pause and say how I use it. Which is like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Right now I don't have much question, and I also I'm reminding myself and you also that it's already 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and I want to respect your time as well. Mine. And yeah, I feel it was quite interesting, and my answers were met, or let's say, yeah, I would say this is definitely a very radical, and I feel that it needs to be understood in a long term
Mm.
way, because um,
And I I
sorry.
just want to also say that it's like, it's for you to take and try it in your life, like, see, like, oh, I get this, like, really check it out, this thing about emotions and feelings. Like, when the next time you feel really angry about something small that happens, you can ask yourself, have I felt this before for something similar? And then, and see, oh yeah, like, it was like that with my father, and it was like that, or whatever it is. And then you, like, it's really for you to experiment with and research in your own life.
Mm. Yeah.
Because all these, so I can talk about all these terms and then these new words and this vocabulary, and all of those are words for something that you can experience,
Yeah.
that you can really experience in your energetic body, in your emotional body, in your physical body even, and is really an experience.
I understand what you're saying. I because even in nonviolent communication, I happen to see that there are so many emotions, negative and positive, and we've never been asked to verbalize them properly. So yeah, tool
Yeah, so
language.
yeah, thank you for this wonderful 45 minutes, and we will, if you have any more questions, we can do this again.
Yeah, let me see how it goes
Yeah,
with me also, and I can come back whenever. For me personally, even if I am choosing this paradigm to understand, then it is going to be a very slow process. But I find it quite interesting. Something did resonate a lot with me. So,
wonderful.
okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Priyanka.
Thank you, B. Bye.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Keep in touch.
Yeah.